Welcome Governor Cecily Mbarire, Embu County.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Cabinet Secretaries, the Chief Guests, my friend, Aden Duale, all protocols observed, good evening. I'm extremely excited to be here this evening to witness a major step by a friend of mine, Honorable Aden Duale, who I have known closely since 2007. And we met in Parliament as he was elected an ODM ticket. Then I was on on PNU, and we became friends. He was an assistant minister, I was also an assistant minister, although he was sacked. And the one thing I can tell you about Aden Duale is that he tells you what's in his heart. Upende, usipende, he'll just tell you as is. And if you want to look for somebody who tells what you will not be able to tell, give it to Aden Duale. He will say it. And I'm very sure, I've not read the book, that in this book he has said it all from his heart and from the experiences that he's had as a politician. The other thing about Aden Duale is that he's a very loyal friend. And it's no wonder he has stuck with the president all these years, even when he was going through some very difficult moments. He's very loyal. And he served the Jubilee Party as a majority leader in a very loyal way. He could do anything as long as it was for government. And so when I was appointed the Deputy Chief Whip, he called us to his office, myself, Washiali, who was the Chief Whip, and he sat us down. And the Deputy Majority Leader, he told us, you've now joined the leadership of the party in the House. The first thing I want to tell you is that the government is always right. So whatever agenda that comes on the floor of this House is our agenda. We make sure we deliver, we ask questions later. And because I'm one who likes to ask questions, it was a very difficult thing for me to learn. But I learned it with time. Number two, he taught me how to be tough on members of parliament. The most difficult group to deal with, and I'm sure Osoro will assert that today, is members of parliament. Because you're leading leaders. And they actually think there's nothing special about you that you're coming here kutuambia story mingi. So they'll ask you questions. They'll challenge you. But he taught me to deal with them without fear. And to tell them even what they don't want to hear. Including, wewe uache mchezo, hii ni serikali. And we did that, and we passed every single agenda of the House, of the government of Jubilee. We made sure it passed. Through thick and thin, including the infamous security laws. And he's a team player. He worked very closely with the Speaker, with us, and he would call us to agree on certain things before they come to the floor of the House. And he was loved and hated in equal measure. Sometimes the MPs loved him so much. Sometimes they didn't like him at all. But that didn't stop him. He continued pushing the agenda. And that's why for me, Duale, I want to say this, that even as you fought that I should not be sacked, and I know you really fought hard for me, and I know the one man who fought so hard for us was Speaker Muturi then, until they started putting question marks on him, is he really one of us, or is on the other side? I did not think for one moment that you deserved the sack. I believed your loyalty to Jubilee government, to the president then, was beyond measure. You had undivided loyalty to the president then. And any time you spoke, you always reminded me that we must support the agenda of government. And I remember when things started going as they were going between the president and the deputy, we'd sit down with you and we'd really discuss these things and we'd say, let's see how we can get these people waskizane, but it was difficult. So the one thing I remember, and I'm looking forward to reading that chapter, was the day you were sacked. When I was sacked, it was in a PG in State House, and the first phone call I got when I left the gate of State House was from you. Come, you told me, you know, sis, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve this. I'm really sorry. And then I remember telling you, I really doubt they'll touch you because you've done a very good job for this government. Of course, the second phone call was from His Excellency, the President. And I was actually just getting to my house. I wanted to go home and just cry out the pain and the anger and frustration. And he called me and told me, please come over to my office. And when I went, I remember you looked at me and started laughing. And then it hit me. It's not this serious. There's life after this. So we survived because of that encouragement. But fast forward, KICC, special PG is called. At one point, we were told the president is coming. The next point, we were told, no, to be on Zoom. And we are sitting there. And I sat at the end because we were already very tired of the government. And we were right at the corner. And I remember Duale was seated, of course, being the majority leader, is seated in front there. Then I watched as, you know, MPs prosecuted the agenda. And I listened to the president say, you know, sometimes friendships and leadership are different. And I'm like, what? Then the next thing, proposal. One lady stood up and said, we want to remove the majority leader. And another one who had no idea where she came from, supported. And Honorable Duale was gone in a second. And I think I felt more pain that day than I did when I was actually sent packing. Why? Because I didn't understand how somebody who has delivered so much for a government can be victimized for no apparent reason. So as we walked out, I remember walking to where the leader was, and I told him, I'm sorry, you didn't deserve this, but guess what? We'll live to fight another day. And our time is coming. And I didn't know you went through so much pain alone after that, but you never showed it. You went to the backbench and continued working like a normal member of parliament. So I want to really appreciate what you've been to us. I want to appreciate that you mentored me as a deputy whip. You taught me the ropes of parliament. You gave me strength to push even very unpopular agenda. You told me that it is possible as a leader at certain levels, you do even the most unpopular things because that's the agenda of government. So I appreciate you, my brother Duale, and I wish you well. Obviously, Your Excellency, you're getting Duale out of the political scene has changed quite a bit because it's not normal to have Duale not speak for a whole month. And the only time he speaks is in some event of the ministry. So I keep feeling you are misplaced. And I'm not saying you should come back, but I keep feeling we've lost a very big voice in the political platform. And I'm very sure sometimes you look at us and wondering why we are not speaking like you used to. So we will try and do and fill that gap that you've left out. So otherwise, thank you so much, Duale. Thank you for mentioning me in your big book. At least my name is somewhere. I thank you. And we wish you well in what you do. And for the future too, thank you so much. And thanks for standing by your friend. I know he means a lot to you. Thanks for being a loyal friend. That's what we are looking for. And Your Excellency, let me say that I know you stood by us when we were going through our challenges. I pray you continue to do that with your current leadership in the executive and in the assembly, and that we'll never have to see leaders go through the humiliation we went through. I really hope it will never happen, but I believe and I know you are not that kind of person, that leaders will be treated right and treated like human beings. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Best wishes, my friend Duale. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency Governor.